If your humidity in your room is too high for the glue that you're using, your glue is gonna cure faster. This might initially seem like a good thing, but be careful. If your glue cures too fast, it can seriously negatively impact your retention. If your humidity is too low for the glue that you're using, it's gonna cure slower. So you're gonna notice a lot more stickies. And in some cases, this might impact your retention negatively as well, because if you lay your lash and remove your tweezer away from the lash that you've placed, after you move on to another lash, that extension that you've placed might slip out of place and either stick to surrounding lashes or completely detach itself from the base. Yeah, actually, the tweezers you use for the inner corner make a huge difference. Just look at this, for example. A crane tweezer is a totally normal application, an isolation tweezer, and we're gonna be fighting against the curvature of our hand, first off, and also the bridge of the nose when trying to reach the inner corner. Reason being is because when I lay the tweezer here, which would help me with stability to get to the inner corner, I'm reaching so far away from those inner corner lashes. It's so far away. In order for me to get to it, I'm gonna have to really manipulate my placement. It's gonna be a lot harder to get to those inner corners versus if I use a tweezer that is much tinier with a smaller curvature, much shorter, then it's gonna be a lot easier for me to get to those inner corner lashes simply because the tweezer can do the reaching for me without me having to move my hand in awkward positions. So if you are a crane or long boot lover, I highly recommend, if you're struggling with getting to the inner corners, getting good placement in there, or reaching it as a whole, just switching your tweezer up to something like either our curved isolation tweezers in our Grippo, which is this line, or our Ultra, which is this line. Both are really great for both isolation and placement, so you can absolutely use them for both. We also have another tweezer that I personally really love called our tiny tip tweezer, and that is going to get in there effortlessly. To answer your question, yes, we do always isolate in a sense that we're always going to only place one extension on one natural lash, but we're not always going to isolate traditionally like this, for example. Sometimes we can do things like take our tweezers and keep them closed and pull them to the side, while other times we won't even use our tweezers at all. So here's a couple things you can do isolation-wise. Number one, you can take an iPad and section out any part of the eye to isolate some natural lashes. You don't even need your isolation tweezer. From here, you can just use your regular tweezer and place any lashes that pop out, like this right here. This lash is perfectly ready for me to place an extension on. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Sometimes we don't even have to use isolation tweezers at all. Instead, I'll just use my finger to move either the lashes around, like for here, I'm holding all the outer corner lashes out of the way with just an available finger, and then I can see these perfectly isolated 3 natural lashes for me. So I have to do almost nothing in order to place my extensions on these lashes. I don't have to use my tweezers at all. In fact, I'm gonna get a cleaner placement if I don't even pick up my tweezers. Even without pulling lashes out of the way, sometimes I'll use my finger to lift the eyelid and then use my placement tweezer to find natural lashes that are easy to get to without an isolation tweezer at all. Sometimes this works really well, other times not so much. Basically, I'm using my finger as an isolation tool instead of using a tweezer. Sometimes if I just pull the lid back, I'll be able to see the bottom lash layer and place an extension from underneath, which I'll do right now, because I can totally see one. Do this a lot for the bottom lash layer because our bottom layer is so important. I also will just use my finger to isolate certain sections of the eye and just move the extensions that I've already placed around. There's no right or wrong way to do this. As long as you can only see one natural lash and you know you're not going to stick your extension to any of its surrounding friends. So technically, you don't have to use both Nano Mister and Superbonder at the end of the service because both have a job of curing the lashes post-service. With that said, I like to still use both. So Superbonder has additional perks, so I highly recommend you always use Superbonder because it adds flexibility to the bond, so the lashes are more comfortable for the client. It also enhances retention and wearability, and locks in glue fumes, so your client's less likely to have irritations, reactions, things like that. But outside of that, Nano Mister definitely still serves a purpose, and that purpose is to add luxury to the end of your services. Your clients are gonna love it. The feeling of the soothing mist on the eyes after the service adds so much to it and really keeps the clients coming back. And it also just relaxes the eyes so they feel so much better when they open up. So if you're gonna use them together like I do, I would suggest putting Superbonder on the lashes first, and then wait about 2 minutes for the Superbonder to fully cure the lashes and do its job. And then you can finish with a nice soothing Nano Mist.